Everyone. We are getting started this week celebrating Small Farms Week. We want to acknowledge all of the hard work that our farmers and that our farm workers help provide food and clothing for all of us. And so our book for the week, our story time book this Monday morning, is Curious George, Farm to Table, because we want people to understand what goes into getting your food from the farm to your table. So let's find out. George was helping his friend Marco make his famous tortillas for his abuelo's birthday dinner, his grandma. George reached for a bag on the windowsill, but it accidentally fell to the ground. Don't worry, George. That was masa, or cornmeal. We need it to make tortillas. I'm sure we have more. But they looked in the cupboard. Uh-oh, I thought we had more, said Marco. George had an idea. He knew exactly where they could find masa, the cornmeal that they needed to make the tortillas. So they walked to the grocery store and they asked the store clerk, Masa? Oh, I'm sorry. I just sold the last bag, but I promised my grandmother I'd make tortillas for her birthday, said Marco. Beep, beep. Well, you're in luck. The delivery man is here, said the store clerk. My uncle Enrique, let's ask him for more masa. So they went out to the truck. Uncle Enrique, today is Abuela's birthday. I want to make her tortillas, but I don't have any masa. No masa? Well, I don't have any on my truck, but I know where we can get something. My job is to deliver food from the warehouse to the grocery store, Uncle Enrique explained. Let's drive to the warehouse to get more masa. Unfortunately, the warehouse manager said that they didn't have any more either. She was waiting for a shipment. So she took them to a different part of the warehouse. You might be able to find a bag up there, she said, pointing to the very, very top shelf. Wonder how they're going to get up there. Well, luckily, Curious George is an expert climber. When he reached the top, he saw one bag of masa left. George had saved the day. With the bag tucked under his arm, he started to climb down. Wait, George, toss the masa to me, shouted Uncle Enrique. I'll catch it. So he did just that. George tossed it. Just then, the warehouse manager yelled, "Watch out," to another employee. And Uncle Enrique got distracted and he looked away and the bag fell to the ground and burst open. So they left the warehouse without masa. I'm sorry, Marco, Uncle Enrique said. Abuela won't have tortillas for her birthday. It's all my fault. They climbed back into the delivery truck. George looked at the back of the empty bag, and he pointed to the picture there. George, you're right. That's the mill where they make the masa. There's even an address, and it's not too far away, said Uncle Enrique. So they decided to drive to the mill. Inside the mill, a worker showed them how masa is made. Grains like corn and wheat come into the mill and are cleaned and inspected. Then the grains are put into a grinder and come out as cornmeal or flour. And then it's sifted to get out the parts that we don't need. Finally, the cornmeal or the flour is bagged and shipped to the warehouse. Could we have a bag of masa? Asked Uncle Enrique. I'm sorry, our corn comes from local farmers, but there wasn't enough rain this year and the drought delayed the corn harvest. No corn, no masa or cornmeal. George knew a local farmer who grew corn. He even stored rainwater for his crops. George pointed the way to the Rankins' farm. Thanks to my water tank, we stored enough water to get through the season. I harvested corn all day today, said Farmer Rankins. Farmer Rankins was happy to help. He gave them fresh dried corn. They took the dried corn to the mill where it was ground into masa and put into bags. Then Uncle Enrique took the bags to the warehouse for it to be packaged for the grocery stores. They took one bag home to make the tortillas. George now understood that the food that comes in our stores came from farmers like his friend, Mr. Rankins. At last, Marco was able to make his famous tortillas for his grandma, his abuela's birthday dinner. The whole family loved them, and so did George. So, this story is just a brief story of showing you how something like tortillas need to be made. And you need cornmeal for that, and all of the different steps to get our food from the farm to the warehouse to the get packaged so it can go to the grocery stores where you can purchase it and make tortillas at home. So hopefully you've learned a little bit about agriculture and how important farmers are to our food and our way of life. Thank you for joining us for a Monday morning story time and for helping us celebrate Small Farms Week this week.